Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Obviously, like I said before, we had a few issues with qualifying, had a few penalties that needed to be removed, but thankfully we have sorted that now. We have another lobby ready to go for the race. And of course, if you just missed it, it is CPI Volcano who is starting on pole position. Usually an Aston Martin driver, of course, but if you missed it, we are using the F1 World Car today with a few issues with the game at the moment. But, of course, Volcano is looking for his first win of the season and wants to see if he can finally get a race win that he's wanted all season long. 11 out of 12 races we've had so far. Excuse me, this will be the 11th race of the season so far. Like I say, that is a man who is wanting to get his first win. Another man who's going to want to seal something tonight is NSX Selly, the man who is leading the World Championship on 188 points. Just needs to get 3 points this evening to win the title tonight. Then followed, of course, by Gatkowski and Peter on 140 points. Cucumber not here again this evening on 117. Limitless wants to get back into that third position spot on 108 points, followed by the man on pole position, Volcano, looking for his first win on 94 points. Then Carl on 61, Spanias on 47, Jamie on 37, Marios on 34, and Dark on 26 points, rounding out the top 10 here as we look to start the Grand Prix at the Losail circuit here in Qatar. So as the drivers are just finishing up getting their setups loaded, getting their strategies and everything loaded as well, feel free to tell me in the comments down below who you think will be the race winner here tonight, and if you think NSX Silly will wrap up the title. It seems likely, but anything can happen in sim racing, and it usually does. So a few more seconds to wait all the drivers to get everything sorted, and of course we will be ready to see the drivers come away from the start line now. As we say that, the lights finally come on. You can see them there. It's Volcano in pole position. Let's see if he can get a good start as the lights do go out now. And it looks like a tentative start away from Volcano, but he seems to have got a good one. One man who definitely has is Jamie on the outside of Gatkowski coming around turn one now. Can he get around the outside? Yes, there's a bit of contact behind. And I think everyone's been caught up in that. Yes, they are. A few drivers getting caught up in that one. I think it was actually Marios who potentially is. Gatkowski's retired from the session. He's already out, and that means to say that Selly will be the champion of Season 4. Because the only man who could catch him is now out of this one. Did he potentially have a crash coming out of the first part of the lap? Jamie down in P12 as well, so it looks to me like those two drivers did tangle as we were looking in the background for everything else that was going on. Jamie now down to P12. Volcano still in P1, though the safety car has come out. So already the racing action has come to a stop. Already Selly 360 will be the Season 4 champion here of Flashpoint. I'm sure it's not the way he wants to have won it, but he has done it now with Gatkowski, his main rival, being out after only one corner of this race. Let's get everything sorted now as we go through, and let's see what tyres everybody has on at the moment. Limitless, a brilliant start from him to get up into P2 on those medium tyres. That is exactly what he needed to do if he wants a shot of winning this race. Of course, a man who hasn't won a race since round number 4. Volcano, a man who hasn't won a race at all. And Ishak, a man who hasn't won a race at all this season in P3. So many of the top drivers haven't won a race. And I believe it's Selly 360 is the man, the only man in the top 7 who's actually won a race this season. So good to see that we're going to have a lot of drivers fighting for that. As we see Noel coming into the pit lane as well. Is he going to try and get off his tyre? Potentially has a bit of damage there on his car. Can't quite see from that angle, unfortunately. But I'm sure we'll see him come in now, and if he has got damage, get a front wing change going on. Yes, it is front wing change for him. Another man in the pit lane is Frankis as well. Must have been caught up in that as Noel puts on the soft tyres. Interesting. It definitely looks like he's going for a two-stop strategy, of course, with it being the first lap of the race. Let's see who had the best starts at the moment as we come through. Come across, let's change these around and look at that. Renz with 7 positions gained as Igor retires from the session as well. What's happened there to that man? Not entirely certain what's gone on there. Has he just left the session maybe? Has he gone wide? I think he's just left the session. It's a shame to see Frank as well. Not sure what's going on with him. He comes out of the pit lane too, but like I say, it's Volcano at the moment in P1. Limitless in P2. Great start from the man in the yellow and the black machine, of course, usually of Red Bull Racing, but not this time out as we are using the the F1 World Car. Like you say though, Volcano P1 at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what happens to those drivers at turn 1, of course, with Gatkowski and with Jamie coming to blows. Some of the other drivers getting in contact as well. Speaking of, Jamie's now in P10, of course, with the pit stops that have happened so far. So not the start. He's going to want down 7 positions. Look at that as well. Frank is down 10 and Noel down 13, having to make those pit stops. It is Igor and Gatkowski who are out of this race. The two Mercedes drivers, I must say, they were making a bit of a fight of it with AlphaTauri at the top of the standings, but that is going to deal an absolute hammer blow to those in the Mercedes team, because they are not going to be able to close that gap on the AlphaTauri team currently. Both their drivers out of the race before one lap of racing has been completed. Safety car still out for another lap. You can see the possible race strategy there. Looking to put the mediums on and then go to the soft tyres, which I don't think is really viable. Jamie now up into P9 as well. Not certain what's happening. Oh, I believe Carl's actually going to the pit lane. Yes, he has. Drive, of course, usually of the Haas team. He's going to the pit lane as well. I think he's got nothing else to lose at the moment, potentially. Has some damage as well. Let's see what happens as he comes in. So they see his pit crew there coming in now. So no, it's literally just a stop 4 tyres. Let's see what he puts on. He puts on the medium set of tyres now in last place. Volcano, of course, the man in P1. Great start from him then. Kept himself away from all the trouble. And his two main rivals have fallen by the wayside. And he is going to be surely in a rosy position now to win this Grand Prix. But of course, one man who will definitely want something to say about that is Limitless in second place. Of course, he's got the faster tyre on at the moment as well, as you can see there from the graphic on the left hand side. Wouldn't be surprised to see the safety car in this lap as well. But please, guys, if you are watching and you want to comment on who you think is going to win this Grand Prix, feel free to put it down below. But like I say, it is NSX Selly 360 now who is the Season 4 champion. Unfortunately, Gatkowski with him retiring at the end of the second corner, he will not be able to catch Selly with this round, and of course one round remaining after this one. So it is Selly 360 who is your Season 4 champion, but of course we have a long race ahead of us. I'm excited to see what happens with these drivers now. And around the middle sector, the field is now all nicely bunched up, so I'm sure we'll see the safety car lights go off sooner rather than later. The drivers have to back up. Volcano takes the pace of the rest of the field, so surely we'll see that in a few seconds time now. There it is, safety car lights are gone and Volcano starts to take control of the pack now. Let's see what he does. He's keeping them nice and compact early on. Limitless, of course, there in second place, going to want to make a bit of a beeline for the man in first on the harder compound of tyres currently. So let's see what happens now as he come round the second to last corner. Now safety car just coming into the pit lane now, so let's see when Volcano decides to go. Will he decide to go early, or will he wait until we are halfway down the pit straight, like a lot of drivers do decide to do? It looks to me like he's taking his time with this one, doesn't want to give anybody slipstream if he can. Going through the final corner, you can see there he's still keeping it nice and slow. The drivers initially thinking he's going, but no, you can see there he isn't. He's keeping it as early as possible. Carl gets a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Frankis, the two drivers coming together, but no, Volcano is finally gone. It looks like he's caught Limitless napping, who Ishak is all over the back of him already at the moment, but Limitless is using everything he can to keep ahead. Don't think he can get through. What about in the background? Some of these drivers going side by side, round the outside there potentially. Goes Jamie as he tries to get his way back through the field, can't quite make it there, but what about into the next left-hand corner, should I say. Gets it down the inside, bit of contact potentially, but no, the drivers keep it clean, and he has not been able to get through. That's actually put Mavros on the back of him as well. Mavros really trying to get a move down the inside. Frankis gets a move as well on Stefanos, who goes through the first sector, but it looks like at the moment Noel, who gets through on the soft tyres as well, is going to be the big mover as we go through now. The safety car is finally restarted. Almost tries to put a move on there, does Noel, but the car in front of Percy actually pushed him slightly wide there, but the soft tyre is doing him a brilliant service at the moment as he tries to go down the inside. Almost a bit of contact, but the drivers don't quite make contact there, which is good to see. He's using a lot of his ERS, so as he goes side by side, surely through his left hand, he can't do that, but he does. Great move through the right-handed corner there. And Noel is definitely going to be the man on the warpath at the moment. Already got Mr. Psycho in the crosshairs at the moment as we go through the long triple right-handed section of the track at the moment. Limitless right on the back of Volcano in the lead as well. But it's Noel who tries to go side by side through that corner. Surely he can't do that, and he actually gets caught napping there round the outside. Can Percy go? Bit of contact between the two and that's actually put Frankis through on the inside as well. And there's so much fighting going on between these drivers. Noel seems to get a little bit too eager there, and it lost him out in the end as Laser goes down on the inside as well, and Perseus goes through. Volcano sets the fastest lap of the race as we go towards turn 1. You can see the drivers in the background. Is Ren's going to go through on the inside? Yes, he does, and Ishak gets through on those medium tyres, uses them whilst he can, and gets right on the back of Limitless now as well. So let's see what Ren's can do. It's a good move in the end. The cars aren't spreading out too much currently. It looks like there's a lot of battling in the background as well. Noel gets back through on the inside of Psycho as you go through towards the end of Sector 1 now. You can see so much battling going on between these drivers, but it looks like it's kept nice and clean for the most part. Psycho now down in P14, Noel in P13, already trying to pull away from the drivers behind. He's going to want to get back through on Frankis as well, who's actually got ahead of him now too. Frankis puts a purple first sector in, of course. He's the man on the move at the moment. On those soft tyres, going to have to use them whilst he can, whilst the sun shines, as they say. Limitless and Renz as well, keeping it nice and tight between the two of the drivers. Let's ride on board with Renz now and see what he can do. As we go through the long right-handed section once more. Lap number 5 now, as you can see, no time to be lost here, but he can gain so much on the drivers in front just by the slipstream alone. As you can see there, keeping right on tabs with Limitless. Runs wide though, and surely that's going to be a warning for the drivers. Calgasa around the outside, I think, of Percy in front of him. But as we see now, riding on board with Renz, is he going to use any of his DRS? No, he doesn't, but I think Limitless definitely is doing at the moment. He's actually got a lot of energy to utilise. Limitless does set the fast lap briefly, but then Renz takes it as well. Will he try and go down the inside of Volcano? No, I think he's thinking better of it. Noel down the inside though of Zorzo. I think the two drivers are actually a 3 wide going into turn 1. What's the move? It is from Noel in the end. Can he keep it, or will Frankie's trying around the outside? No, he doesn't. Noel keeps the move done. Great racing there between the drivers. 3 wide going towards turn 1, and no contact was made. One thing Noel's going to have to be careful of is the switchback move here, of course, with not a lot of ERS remaining in the background as well. A lot of drivers are battling, bumping and barging their way through. But it looks to me at the moment like these drivers are starting to settle themselves down into a bit of a groove. Limitless seems to just be doing everything he can to make sure he keeps on top of this now. Noel gets through on the inside of Mavros as well, going through the long right-handed corner at the end of Sector 1 and start of Sector 2 now, and he's still on the move at the moment. Interested to see what he can do as we go through. Renz once more right on the back of Limitless. These drivers on the medium tyres, of course, will get an undercut later on in the race. So interesting to see what their strategy will be. Will they try and gun it for the lead, or will they stay behind these drivers, save their ERS, and of course utilise those undercuts that they will get later on in the race? Volcano actually has a lot of ERS to play with here as well. So let's see if he utilises any of that. No, he does not. I think he's actually happy to let Limitless go by if he decides to do so, but I don't think Limitless is doing that at the moment. No, he isn't. He's actually not using his DRS. He's playing a long-term game here. As you see Rudy potentially go down the inside, as we actually see, look at the drivers now going almost 3 wide. Lolo almost loses 2 positions and does so, but tries to hold it down the outside, and Lolo keeps it on the inside of the next corner now. But can Jamie go around the outside in that black eye? Yes, he can. Great racing between these drivers, and he gets it through on the inside of the next corner. And then great racing. See Noel now up into P8 on those soft tyres, but they will start to cry for help surely sooner rather than later. But let's see as he further goes into this race now. Rudy in P7. Selly, again, the man who is the champion now. We can say that before the race has even ended. Selly 360, having a bit of a lonesome race at the moment in P6 on those hard tyres. Surely playing the long game there. As Mavros in P5 starting to creep up to the back of Ishak as well, who again is right behind Ren and of course Limitless too. Volcano slowly in the middle sector starting to pull away. I think these medium tyres do drop off quite quickly. One man's tyres who don't seem to be dropping off quickly at the moment though is Noel in P8 at the moment with that Red Bull, the Stappen style livery of course on the car currently. So let's see what he can do. See though, he's already running out of BRS. These drivers really struggling it seems at the moment. Some of the drivers at the front though not struggling at all. It seems like everybody. Cycle gets a 3-second time penalty in P15 for multiple warnings. Let's see who's going to put some moves on here. Will Ren try and get a move? Excuse me, will Marios get a move on Ren? I think he is. No fighting between the two. It seems like he's just letting it through in the background. A bit of battling though. Let's see as we can go through now. Going into turn 1, Frankis side by side with Mavros. Is there a bit of contact between the two? Yes, there is, but they've kept it clean at the moment. The two cars, Frankis and Mavros. Mavros, Frankis pushing each other wide. And all that's doing is putting Zorzo in a good position to get side by side with them as well. And of course, Carl behind that as well. Zorzo going down the inside of one of them. Almost hits the back wing, of the car in front, but actually keeps it. And it's a good move in the end. Bit of fighting between between these drivers. Jamie in P8 as well, trying to get on the back of Noel too. Of course, Jamie, the man who qualified in P2. Well, fortunately, P3, but actually got in a bit of contact with Gatkowski and put him down in the order. But he's now back up into P9 with Noel ahead of him in P8, who doesn't seem to be able to quite catch Rudy ahead. Selly, though, starting to creep up to the back of the group in front as well. Ishak is right on the back of Limitless now as well. Will he try and get a move on? Driver in front, as we see Zorzo getting overtaken by two drivers there, so potentially made a bit of a mistake coming out the long left-handed corner there. Stefano's in the back, actually running a bit of a race by himself at the moment, but it's Volcano in P1 at the moment as we start lap number 9 out of 29 here in Qatar. Limitless and Ishak potentially putting a bit of a battle on behind them. Will we see that? But of course in the background as well you can see Marios trying to go down the inside of Ren once more, gets the move done as we go towards turn 1. And Limitless right on the back of the car in front, but does not want to get through. But it is in fact Marios getting through on the inside. Carl also having a bit of a battle with the guys in front of him as well. And these cars chopping and changing positions so easily. But you can see that Frankis, oh, his tyres just seems to be absolutely dead at the moment. And that's meant he's left Mr. Psycho through on the inside as well. Does that mean as well he's going to let Lucas Perth through? Yes, it does. Frankis has left the session. I think potentially a bit of connection problems there actually for the driver. But he's out of the session now, and these drivers are starting to find their way through. What about Limitless now? As we see, actually, Ren's now down into P5 at the moment. So the man, of course, who was up into P3 briefly, those mediums starting to cry for help, it seems, at the moment. As Ishak's now up into P3, Marius P4. Those drivers are starting to make a bit of a ding-dong battle on those hard tyres. Limitless holding his own in P2 at the moment. I think he's happy to stay behind Volcano. Look at that on 90% ERS. I think he understands. Limitless does not want to get a move done on him at the moment, and even if he did, he does not want to use the ERS to defend. And that has meant that he's got the most ERS of anyone apart from Ishak in the top 5. But all the drivers seem to be saving it quite well. There's Selly on the back of these drivers as well. But you can just see drivers are so close together. It's going to be a very strategic race, this one now. As we go through the final corner now, let's see what Volcano does. Does not use any of his energy out final corner. I think he understands, like I say, there's no need for him to use so. Limitless, not really under any threat at the moment. The only man who's really under threat is Rudy from Null behind. Null gets DRS, does not have the straight line speed, but he does have the tyres. Can he break down the inside and potentially get the move done? Going to keep the cars side by side, but I think he's been able to do it, but he loses the back end, and that puts Rudy back through on the inside. Can Null go around the outside though? Yes, he can in the end, and gets that move done up into P7. Great move from the driver with the Red Bull staff and livery going through towards turn number 5 now, but it looks as well like in the background Rudy's now under pressure from Jamie, of course. Great pacing qualifying from Jamie. Can he get further up the field? As we say that, Rudy gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings as well, so it's gone from bad to worse in those few corners for the driver there, of course, in the classic yellow and black livery that you get on this game. Selly in P6 trying to get a beeline for the cars in front. Ren though starting to really lose touch with this group now as those tyres start to cry enough. So let's see if Selly will get a move done on him. Marios as well, starting to get right on the back of Ishak, who potentially might have made a mistake. These drivers starting to finally make their moves now. Get through potentially on the inside or outside of everybody else. So let's see now as we almost start lap number 11 as Ren gets a 3-second time penalty, as does Lolo Vera, and these penalties are going to be absolutely crucial as this race comes to a head now. Ren in P5 potentially was on for a good result, but of course if these penalties stick and nobody else gets as many, then it's going to be a problem for him. Null though in the slipstream, of course, of Selly, who's in the slipstream of Ren, and Ren's tyres are absolutely crying enough now. Selly down the inside, and it's a good move in the end. Can we see a potential double move going through into turn 1 now? No, but actually it looks like Ren's trying to hold it round the outside, can't quite do it though. Does that mean Null will try and get a move around the outside? Can't quite make it done at the moment, but it's Selly up into P5, the new champion here in Season 4. Selly up into P5 now. Can we see Null get through on those soft tyres? No, we cannot. Doesn't have the grip for it at the moment. Ishak in P3 trying to put the pressure on Limitless now as well, as the drivers all start to close up as the pit window comes in. Limitless though doing a brilliant job at the moment on those medium tyres to keep him within the race at the moment, but Ishak is right on the back of him now. Potentially we could see a move coming through as we go towards and start lap number 12. And just see on Limitless's car, the wheel just doesn't seem to be helping him at the moment. He just seems to be losing the rear end so much as Mr. Cycle gets another 3-second time penalty. It's a shame to see for him. Like we say, as we go through the long right-handed section now, this is the point where Limitless will be really hurting to keep the car on track. He's going to want to be doing everything he can to make sure he does not cause himself any issues. No right on the back of Ren as well at the moment too, so we'll keep an eye on that one as we go to start lap number 12 now, coming through the final corner. Let's see if Ishak puts any sort of move on as Ren comes into the pit lane, I think it is. Yes, he does on that medium tyre. So let's see as he comes through now into the pit lane, almost like he's going to speed in there. But of course, we'll surely be putting the hard tyre on. If he gets a good outlap now, of course, he can start really looking towards the front end of this Grand Prix. What kind of stop is it? It looks like a good one from the guys down there as Frankis gets through as well. So it's basically stone dead last. Just goes to show how tightly compacted the field is here in Tier 1. But let's see what outlap he can do. Got absolutely bucket loads of free air. So we've got no problems there worrying about that. Surely we'll see Limitless in next, or Noel as well in P6. He's made a good recovery on those soft tyres, must be said. As we go through now. Still got no ERS to play with though at the moment in P6 for Noel. Selly in P5 got the move done. Marios in P4, Ishak in P3, Limitless in P2, holding his own on those medium tyres at the moment. Great race so far from the Red Bull driver. But it is Volcano yet again at the front of the field, as he has been in the last few races. Not quite been able to get the elusive first victory for himself. Surely today is his best chance at the moment with all his main rivals out. Gatkowski out, Igor out in the Mercedes, and of course with Selly only down in P5 at the moment. No Cucumber here either to challenge him towards the front. So as Volcano starts lap number 13 now, we have Noel in the pit lane. Let's see what he can do. As you see Jamie actually on the back of Rudy as well, goes down the inside. Rudy understands it's not quite a battle that he needs to be fighting at the moment, but let's see now where Noel comes out of the pits. As we see a lot more fighting going on down the pit straight now. We see Cycle going down the inside of Lucas, but this is what we really want to look for at the moment. Noel in the pit lane. We see coming around the final corner now Ren in P17, but just looking at the undercut he's got now, it looks like he's going to be able to get through potentially as we go towards turn 1 now. It's going to be very close between these drivers, but yes, I believe it is going to be Noel coming out behind Ren. Yes, it is now going through in towards turn 1, but of course on those medium tyres he's going to have a lot of pace now to potentially get towards the front. So let's see with these drivers now where they can come out, as Volcano still leads the pack through. Limitless in P2, Ishak in P3. It just looks at the moment like these drivers are really starting to find lots of grip on a tyre that just doesn't seem to be having much left. So these drivers just have something at the moment that is keeping them in contention here. So let's see what Limitless does. Will he potentially pit this lap? I believe the standard strategy is 14 laps on mediums, but then 15 on softs. But yes, he comes into the pit lane now. Limitless, this is the moment he wants to bite for the undercut. Interesting to see if Ren's been able to do anything with the car with good laps to put him ahead of Limitless now as we go into lap number 14 with the guys. It looks to me at the moment like Selly is playing the long game, Marios of course as well, but Volcano is still out in front. So let's see now as Noel gets a 3-second time penalty. That's going to be big for him. He could have done brilliant things in this race, but unfortunately for him now, with that 3-second time penalty, is not going to be helping him. Ren in P15 now. What about Limitless? He's coming out the pit lane now, and it looks to me like it's going to be side by side going towards turn 1. Limitless gets up to speed now. Can he stay ahead of his drivers? I think he's got enough speed, but of course the tyres are cold. Going through turn 1 now. Will Ren try and potentially get a move around the outside? No, he cannot. And that has meant that Ren has not been able to do the undercut on Limitless. Limitless just stays ahead. But will we see Ren potentially try and make a move whilst Limitless's tyres are still cold? Don't think he's going to be able to from this position. So it looks like Limitless is going to be settled in P13 at the moment, but P2 on track. As we go through now, look at how cold Limitless's tyres are. He's just not able to get the grip down. This is basically a battle on track for P2, or if they get an undercut, it could be for actually the race lead at the moment. So these drivers are really going to have to do everything they can to keep position, but of course work together also. But it looks like Limitless has everything under control at the moment after the tyres start to get warmer. But of course, look in the background, not only Ren, but of course Noel as well, starting to really push now as we see some of the drivers come to the pit lane. We've got Marios in, Jamie and Rudy in, and of course Carl in as well. Interesting to see where they can come out with everybody else at the moment, as Volcano loses the lead actually going towards turn 1. Ishak has decided that this is his time to push on these tyres now. So all these drivers into the pit lane, we can ride on board now with Limitless, because it's interesting to see where they're going to be as we come out the pit lane. But you see the cars that are coming around the final corner starting to really bunch up. I'm sure we'll see some overtakes happening as well as we go towards turn 1. But look at the drivers now. They are absolutely gunning it towards turn 1, and they have 100% undercut everybody else now. Limitless goes towards turn 1 now, keeps ahead of the car behind Ren in P. Number 10 now as the pit stop starts to come in, but he's not been able to get through on Limitless. But of course Noel as well on those softer compound tyres. Going to want to see if he can get a move through as we go towards the end of Sector 1 now. Will he try and potentially get a move down the inside? No, he cannot. So Ren not only has to be attacker, but also has to worry about defensive side of things as well on Ren. Will Noel try and get a move down the inside? He even thinks about it going through, but can't quite get it done. Of course, with Limitless ahead as well, this is making it so much harder for Ren to make the decisions going through the middle sector now. But these drivers, if they can keep it together, of course, will potentially be within striking distance of the leaders now, as Ishak has taken that lead from Volcano. But they have both come into the pit lane now as well, so interested to see where they come out. Will Selly follow them in? No, he does not. He stays out for longer, but look at Noel there, gets through on Ren. So Ren makes a bad exit there, or potentially lets him through because he knows he's actually a bit quicker, wants to see if he can get Limitless in front of him as well now as we go through the final few corners with these drivers now. So let's see where the front pack come out, as Ishak comes out now as well. Volcano still waiting to come out, and he's been held by quite a bit there. So I believe potentially these drivers actually were teammates, and that has caused so many problems. But look at this now, going towards turn 1. It looks like Noel's battling for the lead as he is going through there, gets the position done. These drivers are going to be coming out into a bucket load of traffic. Gets through though, and Ishak into P8 at the moment, and Volcano's had an absolute disaster down in P13. That is not what he's wanted. He's had to queue behind the driver. Of course, he does not know who his teammate is with these F1 World Cars. Such a problem we're having here. But that has meant that Volcano has lost the net race lead. Selly 360 though in P1 at the moment, where he has been so familiar for most of this season. He has not been able to have much pace this race, but he's definitely playing the long game at the moment. Noel though at the moment has the lead on track when everyone has done their pit stops. But of course, with the penalties that he's got, it's going to cause him a lot of issues, and it basically means that Limitless is net P1 at the moment. As we see some battling going on in the background, Ren and of course Ishak as well, who just came out the pits, battling it out with Marios on the medium compounded tyre. Of course, much fresher tyres than the cars in P1 to P4. But of course Ishak wants to make hay while the sun shines, as they say, because of course on those medium tyres they're not going to last forever. Zorzo gets moved on in towards the first corner on Lola Vera to get P2 currently. But as you can see there, Ishak already side by side with Ren, and he gets the move done now going towards turn 1. And Limitless, as we can see, Ren and Jamie as well battling it out as we go towards turn 1. Will Marios trying to go down the inside of Ishak? Yes, I think he does. And it looks like he's trying to go around the outside. Can't quite get it done though. Go through the switchback now. Can he get through as we go through turn 3 and 4? Now you see the switchback moves going on. Can't quite get it done as we go through towards the first sector. Ren now down in P8 as well. And Jamie's on the back of this battle as well in P9. Good recovery from him so far. But Ishak on those medium tyres trying to get through the pack as quickly as he possibly can. Limitless in P5 as well on those hard tyres, doing everything he can to consolidate what potentially could be a race lead, with of course Noel having that penalty at the moment. It looks to me as we've got some more battling on in the background too. Jamie through on the inside of Ren, so Ren just having a terrible few corners there at the moment, as you see in front. Limitless really getting pushed along now by Ishak in that Red Bull liveried car. Let's see how close he can get through the long right-handed corners now. Will we see Selly? Will we see Zorzo into the pit? Zorzo does pit. Selly's still staying out though. He's definitely hoping for a late safety car with that kind of strategy. Going through now as well, we can see the red light flashing of Noel ahead. He's not got any ERS to play with now. But it's Ishak who's trying to get a move done on Limitless, and of course Noel as well. Let's see then as we go towards turn 1. Will Limitless use the ERS to try and get a move on in front as well? I think he is doing. As we go through, we can see there Limitless in P4 trying to get a move around the outside. Can he potentially get it done as we go towards turn 1? Yes, he can. And that's meant that he's put a car in between himself and of course Ishak as well. Volcano sets the fastest lap of the race. He tries to get back on contention with the rest of these racers. We have 18 runners and riders left in this race, and so much battling going on to prove it. We've got Ishak side by side with Noel as well. Can Ishak get down the inside? Yes, he can. Gets the move done on Noel, and Noel's starting to fall back without that without that ERS to utilise. And Limitless now in P3 has basically got the net race lead as we go through to start the second sector of lap number 18 now. It is Limitless, the Red Bull driver, going for his third win of the season. Runs it wide though, almost a bit of contact between them, and Ishak, I'm sure now he's going to be absolutely frustrated behind this driver, trying to get through. this way and that way. Can't quite do it in the middle sector. Nowhere to overtake there. As we go through now the long right-handed corners, it's going to be so frustrating for the man on the medium tyres at the moment because he can't quite get through at this point. I'm sure that as it comes to the main straight, he's going to want to do everything he can to get the move done going towards turn 1. He actually has to go down a gear to make sure he doesn't hit the back of Limitless there as well. As we go through, Limitless runs it wide there, almost invalidates the time, doesn't quite dig. See Ishak getting impatient now, wants to get the move done, goes around the final corner and surely he's going to get the move done. As we go towards turn 1, Limitless doesn't look like he's fighting this one. No, he is not. As we go towards turn 1 now, it looks like Ishak is going to take the net race lead on those medium tyres as Lolo Vera and Selly still out at the moment. The Volcano sets another fastest lap of the race. These drivers fighting their way through, and this is going to really help Volcano as well, who's only 1.1 seconds behind Ren now too. For all the trials and tribulations he had in the pit lane after dominating the first stage of this race, you can see Volcano in the background there onto the back of Ren's now. Let's see the man who of course was on pole position if he can do anything in the rest of this Grand Prix. He's got 11 laps to do it. Marios right on the back of Limitless. Let's see if he's going to try and potentially get a move done as we go through. The sector now chucks it through the right-hander. So easy to run wide in this corner as well, especially when following a car in front. Doesn't do that though, and he is right on the back of the Red Bull driver as we go through now. As Selly finally comes into the pit lane, he's going to be in absolute no man's land as we go through the rest of this race now. But I think the strategy that he's had waiting for that late safety car hasn't quite worked out. As we go through now, you can see in the background as well Jamie and Volcano fighting it out potentially. But Volcano seems to have made a bit of a mistake there actually. He goes through there, but actually got past Renz in the end. Jamie now on the back as well, but let's see as Limitless comes through. Will he have a move done on himself? Selly coming through the pit lane now as well. Drivers getting close together. It looks like Jamie and Noel fighting it out as well, and Jamie gets through on the inside of Noel. Volcano slowly but surely closing in on these guys as well as the battle rages on for the podium positions. But it is Ishak now in P1. It looks to me like if he can keep those medium tyres in good nick, he's going to be in good position here with Limitless having less ERS, as does Marios and Jamie and Noel, and of course Volcano as well. So it is Ishak who is looking good for the victory at the moment. Limitless must feel absolutely crowded with all the other cars on medium tyres around him, but Noel's tyres now 7 laps old are going to start to cry enough sooner rather than later, and he's going to start plummeting down the field if he's not careful. Let's see. Going through now. Some of these drivers towards turn 1. Lola Vera gets another 3-second time penalty, but the driver's now starting to fight it out. Marios using everything he has to get on the inside of Limitless, and he's through on the inside. Selly making a move as well as Ren just falling down the field now. He just doesn't have the pace on those 9-lap-old hard tyres. He had the undercut, but the tyres are just crying enough now. Limitless slowly falling down as well on those hard tyres. Can't quite make it at the moment, but of course if he can keep within this now and potentially see the tyres come good towards the end. But it is Ishak on those mediums pushing away at the moment, clear of the DRS, and it looks like it's his race to lose at the moment. We go through the middle sector now. Through now towards the end of the middle sector, and it looks like Ishak has got good pace in that Miami Red Bull liveried car now as we go through the middle sector, out of DRS from the cars behind. And that is going to give himself a lot to play with here. Marios doing everything he can in that blue, white, purple car to get as close as possible, but he just doesn't have the ERS to play with, and Ishak definitely does. As he comes around the final corner, does the race leader to start lap number 22 of 29. An engrossing race so far, so many chopping, changing positions as Lucas gets a 3-second time penalty. Not the race he's been wanting down there, of course, in P12 at the moment. We see some battling going on now. Volcano finally down the outside of Noel, and he's up into P5. He is not giving up this race at the moment as we go through the first sector now. Can the man who started in pole position, dominated the first half of the race, got held in the pit lane, which caused him so many issues, will we see him potentially fight again towards the front? Still has not got a race victory this season. Seems cursed in Tier 1 here, Season 4 of Flashpoint. But for this driver, it would be great to see him up there. Can he get towards P1 with that beautiful livery that he's got on his car at the moment? As we see some battling going on in the background as well. I believe Lucas has gone off. Yes, he has. Will that potentially be a safety car? No, it is not at the moment. So it means that the drivers are still gunning for it currently. Ishak in P1 still pulling away from Marios, and Limitless just staying within that DRS at the moment. Jamie in P4, great recovery from that man, looking to get himself back into the podium paying positions after such a horrible first few laps for him. Lolo Vera gets down a move on Carl as well, but going through the final few corners, Rudy gets another 3-second time penalty. Going to cause him issues there in P8. Selly, he's going to start pulling away from him anyway. Potentially could get a move done here as we go towards turn 1. It looks like he's going to have it done before the end of the straight actually. But we do see in front, Noel does go defensive. Can Selly potentially go down the inside there as Rudy is retired from the session in the pit lane? Not happy with that, but it looks like Selly comes through on the inside. Can he get a move done? Yes, he does. And it looks like Noel's just consigned to the fact now that he's going to be falling down the field completely as Mavros gets a move done as well on Ren, and Zorzo gets through too. Ren is falling down. Also the drivers who pitted earlier on in this race not having the time of it now. Volcano up in P5 as well. He can sniff a podium. He can potentially sniff a victory if he can get through this pack quickly. Let's see now. Doesn't have a lot of ERS to play with. The man in front, Ishak, seems to have everything under control at the moment. He led coming into the pits, and it's been so easy for him since. I think himself and Volcano were picked as teammates, and it's a really good job for his sake that he's stayed and got the move ahead actually, of Volcano going to turn 1 at the end of his first stint. Otherwise he'd have been the one in Volcano's position at the moment, and Volcano would have been the one in his position. But look at these cars, so closely matched with each other. Limitless, Jamie, Volcano separated by less than a second, and of course Selly as well. Look at the race he's having now coming through the field. He's doing everything he can to get back through. He's got such fresher tyres. Like I said, he was waiting for a safety car it seemed, but at the moment with the pace he's got, it looks like he's going to be fighting for a podium at least at the moment. Volcano potentially trying to go down the inside, but of course you can see Jamie's got the slipstream of the car in front. Can't quite get through though, and it looks like Jamie is now down into P5. Volcano down on the inside. Limitless still in P3. Selly potentially going around the outside of Jamie as well. Can he get the move done? Doesn't look like he can, but he's keeping it there. Bit of contact between the drivers, bit of contact between Jamie and of course the reigning champion now as we go through the end of the first sector. Looking like he's going to get the move done though, as he does. Good clean racing. Limitless gets a penalty. Limitless gets a penalty, and that is going to be absolutely crucial now. He's made the mistake, he's got the penalty, and with that 3-second added on, he could be out of the podium fight altogether now. Ishak, Volcano, Selly seem to be the drivers fighting it out for the podium at the moment with the penalties that we do have, but Mavros is going to do everything he can to pull away, and I'm sure Limitless will do so as well. But on those harder tyres, it's going to be so hard for the driver to get away from the 3-second mark. Volcano and Selly though fighting it out. And it looks at the moment like these are the two drivers where the fight is really being had at the moment. Can we see Volcano try and get a move on Limitless to get himself back up into a 3rd place position on track? But of course a 2nd as the race will end. But as you can see, Selly not giving up on this one at the moment as well. So much pace in that car at the moment. So much fresher medium tyres. And as we go through the final corner now to start lap number 25, you can see Ishak in front there. And it looks like Volcano's going to be right on the back of Limitless. But also, Selly's going to be right on the back of Volcano. What's this going to mean as we go towards turn 1? Volcano gets the move on Limitless. Can Selly try and go down the inside and go? Yes, he does. Limitless loses 2 positions in 1 corner. And that's put Selly up into P4, Volcano up into P3. The 2 drivers who have the most pace so far are pushing themselves through now. P3 and P4, can they potentially, with 5 laps to go, get anywhere near the front 2 now? As Volcano pushes himself through, Selly's got so much pace in that car at the moment on those tyres. Let's see what they can do as everybody's light seems to be flashing at the moment, apart from Ishak in P1. He seems to have everything under control at the moment. Don't get a penalty, don't make a mistake, and he surely will take his win here in the night sky of Qatar. But it looks like Selly is going to be The man on the move at the moment is trying to get that podium spot off of Volcano on the road, but let's see what Volcano can do. Still pushing towards Marios, and he's getting ever closer as every lap comes on in now. Only 6/10 behind the man in P2. So let's see what he can do as he goes through the long right-handed corners now. Such a great crescendo to a great race and a great season. As we see some battling going on in the background as well. Ren loses 2 more position. And the man who was fighting for P3 towards the start of the race just falling like an absolute stone through the field now. As we can see from Noel as well, starting to lose touch with the cars in front. But let's see what Volcano can do now. Will he get the move done as we go towards turn 1? He's in the slipstream. He's got DRS. It looks like it's going to be a simple move for the Pole City. Yes, it is. Up into P2, of course. Let's not forget Volcano has not won a race this season. He is gunning for his first win here. Selly trying to get a move on the inside as well. Isn't quite able to do it as Ren retires from the session of the pit lane. I think he did everything he could. Could not quite get the right strategy in the end. And of course, Ishak as well has not won a race this season. So let's see if he can get a race victory. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3 for Ren retiring, but it's Volcano who's the man who of course can do anything about the car in front, but he's actually losing time to Ishak. Ishak has done a brilliant race so far to just take his time, save his ERS, as Volcano's had to come back through the field, and it looks like it's going to be yet again another second place so frustratingly for Volcano here in Qatar at the moment at the Losail circuit. But let's see if Selly can get a move on Marios as well. But again, it just looks like that gap at the front is stabilising at the 1.8, 1.9 second mark. We go through the long right-handers at the moment. Of course, Ishak with the ERS advantage as well is going to make a massive difference to him. But it looks like Selly is going to do everything he can to get the move done towards turn 1, and surely he's got nothing to defend with, has Marios. P3 at the moment, come around the final corner. Limitless starting to lose touch with the rest of the drivers as well, but we go towards turn 1. Selly now. Is he going to get a move done? But it looks as well at the moment like Marius is really closing in on Volcano in front. Will Selly potentially try and get a move on Volcano to go towards turn 1? No, he can't quite do it, but Selly gets down the inside. Marios trying to hold it around the outside as well. Goes wide. Can't quite with the grip on his tyres, but Selly gets the move done. The champion for Season 4 gets up into P3. It's a great recovery from our now reigning world champion here of Flashpoint Racing League. Going through the start of the first sector. Like I said, that gap is stabilising, but it's going slightly up to 2 seconds now for Ishak to Volcano, so all Volcano can hope for is that he keeps Selly ahead and Ishak gets a penalty. Otherwise, it looks like it's going to be an easy victory now with 3 laps to go here under the night sky for the driver in P1. So can Selly get a move done to get himself up into P2 on the road? So we've got a few more laps to go now. Like I said, that gap is slowly but surely building at the front. It looks like it's now a race for P2, not for the victory. We've got 2 laps to go after this one. Through the right-handed corners now, you can see the drivers absolutely running on fumes now. A lot of them as well. They've been worried about fuel, of course, with it being such a full throttle circuit. As Noel gets a 3-second time penalty again, and that's going to cause him a lot of issues too. But as Ishak starts his second to last lap, let's see if Volcano now defends on the inside. I don't think he is doing. I think he's going to wait until the last lap to try. But it is Selly coming through on the inside, and he takes P2 on the road. Volcano does not defend this one. He's going to try and get a move on the final lap, I do believe, as we go through the first part of the lap now for the second to last time. And it's going to be Ishak surely now. There's only 1.5 laps to go. Who will take the victory as Mavros gets another 3-second time penalty. That's going to cost him a lot with the drivers behind. Jamie is in a net P4. Great recovery from him after the first lap he had. Shame about the contact, of course, with Gatkowski, but nevertheless, things happen in league racing. We move on to next week after this one. I'm sure he'll be come back fighting to try and get another podium, and of course get a race victory as well. But it is Ishak in P1 who, after Selly gets through on the inside of Volcano potentially was trying to stay within DRS, but he's going to be struggling here because Selly is absolutely flying now that Ishak, now he's been released. Ishak is ahead of him, but Ishak, of course, with the ERS advantage, you can see coming through the middle sector now. It's actually meant that he's actually pulling away, of course, from the car behind, still in that sector. And Volcano's still within DRS, but it doesn't look like he's going to have much luck in getting a move done towards turn 1. But I'm sure we'll see now what kind of speed he has coming down the end of the lap now into the pit straight. One thing I will say is it looks like it's Mavros is the man who's on the mission. Marios going towards turn 1 now. Can he get the move done? No, he can't. Marios still stays behind. But Noel gets on the inside of Limitless on the final lap. These two with penalties. Limitless's tyres are just absolutely crying enough now. Made a great strategy call to get into P2, but it's just falling like a stone. So you're a lot more fighting through, as well as we see Zorzo, Lola Vera and Mavros as well fighting out for the lower points paying positions now. It looks like Lola Vera is starting to cry enough on those tyres, but Zorzo up into P2 now. And it looks like Selly, who's got more pace in the middle sector, isn't going to quite have enough as we go through the final few corners now. Selly, the man of course, who's got 5 race victories this season, looking to make it 6, but cannot quite pull the car ahead in enough to cause Ishak any issues. And Ishak now in P1. What a race from this man. Got the move, the race-winning move, it must be said, into turn 1 on the final lap of his first stint as Lola Vera gets a 3-second time penalty. But let's not take anything away from this man Ishak as he comes around the final few corners. It's a great controlled race from him. He kept everybody behind when he needed to. He made the moves when he needed to. And as he comes around the final corner here in Qatar at the Losail circuit, as Limitless gets another 3-second time penalty. But it's going to be a first victory of the season for this man coming across the line now. It's a great win for Ishak. Selly 360 comes home in second place and he takes the title. The driver's coming across the line now. You can see great race between them. Some battling towards the line now. Is a driver going to get through? Carl on the inside. Yes, he does. Potentially spins it across the line. But it's Ishak with a brilliant race victory here in the night sky. Selly, your champion for season 4, takes a brilliant second place after a great strategy call later on in the race. Volcano, what could have been for him in P3? Will be so frustrated once again with the issues that he's had. Still looking for that elusive victory. Still got one more race to go now to see if he can do it. But it is Selly 360, your season 4 champion. Great to see the racing that happened tonight. But Ishak, what a race from this man. Can't say anything apart from brilliance. He made the move when he needed to make the move, and that has put him into the race winning position. So let's see him celebrate well deservedly now. Great from him in P1. Zorzo gets driver of the day from the game. I think potentially that could be a great shout. Selly, of course, winning the championship potentially could be a great shout as well. But one man I'll definitely say deserves driver of the day is this man, Ishak. Great controlled race. Sometimes the race leader doesn't really get the support he needs in terms of driver of the day, but I think this one definitely was a race for the books for Ishak. Great win in the end, and he celebrates with the champagne on the podium and fellow teammates down there as the champagne flies here in Qatar. Great race all round, great racing from everybody, great battling, and it is Ishak who takes the victory here tonight, and it is Selly 360, your season 4 champion in tier 1, and what a champion he is. So consistent, so many race victories, so many pole positions, and in the end he takes the championship here tonight. Volcano in P3 as well, what could have been for him, but Ishak, what a race from 10th to 1st. Definitely my driver of the day. Zorzo, of course, coming from 19th to 6th as well. Great race from him. But Ishak, brilliant race from him. Great race winner, well deserved. And of course, like I say, it is Selly 360 who is your season 4 champion here in Flashpoint Racing League. With one more race to go next week at the Yas Marina circuit, we stay in the Middle East to round out our season. Join me again next Wednesday to see who will be the king in the desert with one more race to go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.